8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, I thought of playing, did you see, Mario Bros. I'm like, don't I reference this game all the time? You are mafia, you're mafia. I'm like, let's play it. It's a very cool game, but it's very difficult. I was thinking as I am playing a little, I can explain to you some ideas I have about um, the world literature, I suppose. Okay. It kind of looks like Super Mario 3D World, you remember, but the difference is let's leave it there. Let's play a new Mario, Luigi, Toad, Toadette, Nabbit. Okay. Um, let's take him for a change. But it is a replica of the first Mario game of the 1980s. You know the lore, so yeah, you're actually trying to save Princess Peach, like always. Don't know, maybe I should turn it on. I can show you Super Mario 64 as well. I have a lot of Mario games. They are coming even more. These are the Koopas. That's Larry. Or I forgot the names. Forgotten the names. Okay. So we are in the first one. We took a different character for fun. So that's the first level even in the first game. Like the 1980s game, this was the first level, but here is obviously digital. It looks like the Mario Run that I put. You remember? The game that I had made the other day. Okay. So I wanted to tell you about a movie that I had watched. Oops. When I was a child, I haven't managed to find it again. I guess it was an indie film. Suppose so. Was about a woman. I don't really remember details though. She was very pretty. It was like a cartoon for adults, but obviously a child could watch. And there was a guy that was watching her from the window as she was getting undressed. And yeah, you could actually see the cartoon's breast at that point. I thought that it was the coolest shit ever. I really liked the idea and the whole plot. And if you're like, Helga, what is this about? The the guy was madly in love with her. She was very pretty. He thought he couldn't have her because she was special and very pretty. And finally, she actually paid attention to him. We don't know how she was feeling because the story was from his POV, that makes sense. So everything I tell you, oops, wrong, go back. Okay, but I have to go from the other side. So whatever I'm telling you is the POV, the point of view of the guy, not of the woman. And is there anything, like I can't reach that coin, maybe I have to go with Mario. Okay. Okay, so they don't damage me, the Goombas. Okay, so it's built very easy. Okay. I don't understand how you can actually reach there. Well, anyways, I will go back with Mario, and what I was saying was, well, after they got together, he was stunned that she was with him now, and he took her for a picnic. That's what they did, and he told her to take off her clothing, you know, and okay, checkpoint. They were in the picnic. It was loosely the reason I got inspired to write that uh, Ivana Adant was like she did it with Ernest in the picnic. That's why it was inspired by that. So I said I haven't managed to find the film again, so I don't know, maybe I will search again. So what happened was when she actually took her clothing off and he, he saw her, he realized that she had a glass eye and he didn't want her anymore, and they broke up. She was crying because she had a glass eye. I think they didn't go together again. That's what I think, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe I remember wrong. But I think they didn't. If they did, I have like some fragments of my imagination that he was trying not to like um, change players. hold on, I will quit. Give me a moment. So I think they got together in the end, and he accepted that she had a glass eye. I'm not quite sure. I think this is just my own reimagination of the story and not the actual story. Let's get out of the game entirely. I wanted to just change to Mario. I think that is what happened. That I just didn't like the story, and I just sat there and yeah, just actually, yeah, just. I just made my own version where they were together. I think the memory I have is not. I think it's a fake memory. I think it's the real memory. Let's take Mario. I think the memory I have is actually placebo, like fake. I think it's just me wanting to marry them off together. You know, I was also thinking, the, what did I do here? Did I? Okay, hold on a second. I actually fucked it up here. I'm drinking some coffee and I spilled some on my things. So yeah, I was thinking of Les Miserables. Miserables, is that the translation in English? Les Miserables. Me and my French tuition, you know. So Les Miserables, Les Miserables, Les Miserables. That was half French, half Greek. Um, Half French, half English. So, guy, you're tired? Yeah, I am. I am a lot. I had a problem with my stomach. I barely slept today. My stomach was unbearable. Um, so I don't like Les Miserables. I don't like The Miserables by Victor Hugo. It's a story I practically hate. I tried to read it about 4 times so far. I will never be able to. I think it's just horrible. It's a horrible story. Oh fuck. I believe it's a horrible story if you ask me. Um, you're like, why? Because. Explain. Because it's a story about. In the beginning, you read. Have you read it? Have you read the story? It's about a guy that was a thief of bread. Yeah, that good. The story is that horrible. Okay. And he's imprisoned for 20 years. He gets out of jail and he tries to reconnect in the society. And in the book is quite unhinged, I dare say. The book is about a guy in the French Revolution period, and it has so much French history in it. It's like French nationalism at its best. And anyways, I'm not gonna run this, whatever, suppose. But what I didn't like at all with the book was that after he he tried to reconnect. He came in contact with the priest. The priest saved him. The priest is a very good guy, and I don't really like the message that the priest is the example. It's quite self-justification because yeah, that's not how a priest really works. And the priest dies. Like, he's a very good character in the book, and he dies. He dies, and I didn't like that. I didn't enjoy that he died because he was a really good character, and I don't understand what I have to do here. Um, we skip without any explanation how this guy, Jean Valjean in French, John Valjean, I suppose in English, he became a mayor of a city. His name was Magdalene, and he tried to save a woman. The woman was named Fantine. He tried to save her from prostitution. After she left the factory she was working at that he didn't know that she was a woman that had a child outside of marriage. The child was living with other people, and she was suffering with in there. She was abused. Um, Cosette was the name of the girl. Fantine started to prostitute herself to be able to make her ends meet with her finances and the problems because she lost her job because she was a single mom. She got arrested for being a prostitute. She was beaten. She also had cut her hair and taken out her teeth, and she was not beautiful anymore because she was a very beautiful woman. In order to sustain her children, her child, her daughter, and yeah, the book says that she had a mouth full of blood and it was not beautiful Fantine anymore. I don't know, it just makes me so sad, and I don't know, like I'm just trying to kinda scream, like where's my dad in all this, you know? And hold on a second. Oh my god. Okay, okay, give me the yeah, got the mushroom. Um, yeah. So after that, he took care of Fantine and he tried to adopt Cosette, but there was a shit going on. He had to go to a different place to save a guy that was said to be himself, and um, he was gonna go again in prison because they were thinking he's himself. We are introduced to a character named Javert. Javeris in Greek. He is a policeman who is like Perseus. He's very adamant with the law. He doesn't see second chances. And this, the fact that like like Jean Valjean goes to save the other guy, costs him Fantine. Fantine, when he turns back, she thought that he would give her her daughter. He didn't, and she dies. And she dies very horribly. She hit her head behind in her bed. She was also very sick, and probably she even had a disease because she was a prostitute and she was not a proper prostitute. She was just going to the street, you know. and that was devastating. And then he took Cosette. Cosette realized that her mother died in the meantime, and we learn what happened after many years when Cosette is in my age, and she falls in love with a guy named Marius. I remember the name because of Super Mario. Marius was the name of the guy, and they fall in love. He he is a revolutionary. He is wanted by the royal, like, ideology. I don't know how to say it. Like, not King Louis per se. Like, the royalists hunt him down because he's a revolutionary. Um, and Cosette is an aristocrat with the money that Jean Valjean had, and they fell in love and they get together behind the back of her father, who becomes enraged when he finds out, and then he tries to save him from the police, but when he's trying to save him from the police, he's struck by um, he's struck he's struck by Javert, who says that you have to go to prison for the bread again. Um, um, Jean Valjean tries to escape and he manages. He gives Cosette a necklace from Fantine, her mother, and says that was your mother. She loved you, but she died. And he blesses Cosette and Marius, and he goes to meet Javert, but Javert commits suicide instead, and yeah, that's how the storyline with Javert ends. What we learn in the end is that Jean Valjean dies, and he has blessed his uh, daughter, adopted daughter, and his son-in-law, and he dies, and that's how the story ends. I always, now that's what I'm gonna say, always whenever I read this story, I just think it's the worst thing that I have ever read. And look, I know you like classical novels, but I can't like them, and hope you don't mind me for this. I want to hear my dad when I see a story. Sorry, I'm crying, but I wanna hear my dad when I hear a story, and that's not my dad there. That's I don't know what that is. They say the philosopher Hugo, and maybe he was, maybe he talked with Zeus. Maybe like being a philosopher is not a job. It's when you talk with Zeus, and maybe he did. I know he was an atheist, but if he did, I can see how this reflects in his work, because what he wrote was straight demonic in my ears. I don't know what it is that makes people write such crappy stories, but for me, it's unbelievable. Um, I can't believe that he literally sat there and wrote a story about a girl who was abused, and her mother died after she was a prostitute, and the thief got in jail for stealing bread, and she couldn't be with Marius because he was a revolutionary and all that shit. And I don't know what makes people write such stories that only cause pain. They say that's life. I don't see what you see there. Sorry. I don't say that like you're like, Hugo, would you like me to stop liking the book? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sometimes I feel like, how could I measure with you when you like these stories and I don't? What was that? The fuck? I died. I'm just very insecure with that. And if you're like, Hugo, why do you think your dad is nowhere to be found in these stories? Because he isn't. My dad wouldn't write that story. In my dad's story, the priest is the bad guy, and the prostitute is a sacred woman, and the thief is not a thief because he hasn't stolen his words. That's who is a thief for my dad. The guy that is stealing his words from his mouth and says lies to his people. It's not a person who wanted to eat bread and he did it and then he went to prison. That's not a story for my dad. And Cosette, who was an aristocrat and married a guy from the revolutionaries. That's how my dad would write the story. It wouldn't be, nobody wants them together, like all the bullshit that Hugo wrote about them. My dad was like, I broke the wall of the Gentiles, and now they are Hebrews and Gentiles into one. And then comes Hugo, who is an atheist, and says exactly what my dad doesn't say. And you think he's gonna be progressive, but he's actually very demonic and disappointing, I suppose. Wow, I lost it. Anyways, it was just a mushroom, I suppose. Sorry for this, but I'm just explaining. And as for the other story with the woman with the glass eye, I remember how I liked how he was going to her window and he was seeing her taking off her clothes and he was like admiring her breasts. Uh, you don't find anything bad with that? No, I don't. I don't. I don't think it's a bad thing if if they see you naked, and I don't think that it's a bad thing to have curiosity or you have a crush and you just want to see them without clothes. I don't think it's bad if you ask me as a person, you know. But they made it appear like it is, I suppose. We barely saw her breasts in the screen. And then he realized she had a glass eye and he didn't like it, and the glass eye in spiritual language means that you are not a philosopher. Pick a block and I'll give you whatever item is inside. I'm gonna shuffle them now. So watch closely, you don't wanna pick. Um, that's a red, I don't know. Okay, pause. Okay, I got confused. Okay. So yeah, that's what I was saying, that the third eye is if you're not a philosopher, and the glass eye symbolizes that you aren't a philosopher. You haven't opened your third eye, and I find it disgusting. That's why I prefer such books. That's why I read books that are considered soft erotica, maybe Harlequin, is that how you call them? Chick lit, women's literature with a lot of sex and rich guys that fell in love with a poor girl and they chase her in the entire America and they have sex and they do it in hotels, all that jazz. The books that I gave you, I find them amazing books. I find them amazing stories to say. Um, yeah, they are not the cup of tea of people, but that's why they are nice stories because people don't like them. If you don't get liked by people, it's because you do something right. That's what I know from my spiritual experience. It's the unliked that it is the good one, not the opposite. And yeah, sorry if I made you spiral with this video. Hope you enjoyed anyways. I will see you tomorrow, I suppose. Love you very much and hope you contact me and hope you think what I said. Bye.